and this isn't to bash public school, but it's not like they're learning these skills from a bunch of kids their own age, you know?
Yeah.
In fact, there may even be some negative influence in that area.
I like that. I actually haven't really thought about the fact that, like, when I've thought about this concept and I thought, well, the way we talk to her, that's how she's going to know to talk to others. That's where she's getting her example. And then on the other side, if they're learning some poor behaviors, it could be from school, from other people who are likely learning it from home. So any abusive words, any abusive behavior, harmful behavior, that is often taken from home, and then kids will act out in other ways. And so I've struggled with that idea. It's like, well, your kid's not going to know how to socialize. I'm like, she knows how to talk, and she knows how to, like, interact with people. Like you said, I'm not keeping her in a dark room and not teaching her any words. She's not like an animal and a savage who doesn't know how to do stuff.
Right. Well, and, okay, I'm sorry, but, like, I went to public school, and I could tell you, like, 10 different people that I knew that sat in the back of the classroom and never talked to anybody for as long as I knew them.
Yeah.
You're going to get that anyway. So,
Yeah.
to me, the socialization part is so unimportant, and that seems to be, like, one of the biggest things that, like, the mindset shifts that, like, parents of public school kids can't seem to get away from. That being said, I do think it's good to get your kids out and into activities with other people, but I don't know.
But it doesn't have to be in a school setting. Yeah.
Yeah, not a school setting. Doesn't have to be their own age. Mixing kids with lots of different ages is one of the most beneficial things that they can do, because then they do learn how to, like, interact with a kid who's younger than them, or talk to an elderly person. You know, these are good skills to have.
Yeah. Instead of actually just having their peers. You know how in school there's this, like, you know, like the freshmen kind of hang only with the freshmen and the seniors with the seniors, and then you kind of start mingling. You're like, oh my gosh, you're dating. Look, whatever. But, like, it is actually more segregated in a school because it becomes like a clique or an activity-based thing. Whereas this way, you're actually encouraging to break those barriers and to know how to properly interact with those who are younger, those who are older. And that's so much more, like, of a rich experience, instead of saying, oh, I'm only going to act. Because it doesn't advance you if you're hanging only with babies, you're only going to act like a baby. But if you're seeing a toddler, a big kid, I've heard that, like, babies who have older siblings are likely to start walking faster, start doing things faster, because they see an older example. Because, like, they see parents, of course, but we're almost like these other beings. But when they see a kid that's a little bit older, they see it as like, oh, this is what I want to be. And so it encourages them to do more things. I mean, it goes with friend groups too. You know, if you surround yourself by people who are doing a lot of stuff, you're more likely to also get involved or do more things or challenge yourself a little bit more, instead of keeping yourself at a ceiling of those who are your peers, let's say.
Right, exactly. So yeah, I don't know. I just think that overcomes a lot of, like, the worry of, you know, is my kid gonna grow up to be normal? Well, probably not, but you know.
But what's considered normal at that point? You know, it's. I get angry at that.
Standard. It's a fake standard. It's a classroom standard, and it's not real. It's not who people are. So.
Yeah, but it's a big conversation that people are like, well, your kid's gonna be, again, they use the word, like, not normal, or gonna be, I don't know, more quiet, or not know the same things. It's like, I don't know. I feel like if you're teaching them the stuff that they need to know, all the other stuff is parents' responsibility to make sure you teach them how to be a good person, a nice person, all the values, whether you're going from the Bible or you're going from your own personal experience teachings, or let the kid live and let them learn on their own with, you know, appropriate consequences so they understand things better. Because I don't think in school it was like, I don't know, I struggle with the whole, like, everyone's getting tested the same way, everyone's getting yelled at the same way, you don't know what the teacher's agenda is, they're having a bad day and you don't even know about. I mean, there's just so many more things that I don't want to say are out of your control, because I don't think homeschooling is about control necessarily. It's about, like, I don't know, being, I guess, nicer to your kid, because you're giving them a bigger option of things to learn in a way they would understand and learn more, right? Okay. Well, I like that.
I know you wanted to touch on the California thing, and when you brought up
What is that about? Let's talk about it.
Talking about raising kids being the responsibility of the parent. And yes, that was another one of my whys is I just don't believe it's the job of the public school. And it's not to say that public teachers, it's an undervalued position, and I understand, but I mean, anybody could agree that school is not the same, even like however long ago when we were in school. It wasn't that long ago, and things have changed dramatically. And I just thought, like, at this point, I don't think there's any recovering from it. It's just gotten so involved, so heavy-handed on the government side. Like, it's scary.
It really scares me. It mortifies me because I'm like, I don't remember things being like that. And I need to let go of that mindset because it just isn't like that. But oh my gosh, is it scary. I feel like it's no more about learning the things that you actually need to learn from a textbook, but it's more about these, like, I guess, social skills. Yeah, it's totally indoctrination. I mean, it's just sick. Some of it is sick. And you hear these stories or you see these videos of things that are happening and you're just like, how is this even happening? How is this okay? And how is this encouraged?
Yeah. I mean, gosh, we could go there with the political, but political aside, I just feel really strongly that at the end of the day, you're your child's advocate.
Yeah,
and
I like that.
There's no one responsible for your child except for you until they're of age and accountability. So do you trust that the public school will do a good job? If you do, great. That's fine. But as far as what I know about my child is I don't feel comfortable enough. I don't feel that they don't know her, you know? They don't know how she learns. They don't know if she'll be okay if she doesn't reach, certain standards. I know that my child would get test anxiety and not do well, and that's no reflection of what she already knows kind of thing.
Yeah.
Not to say that, like, I'm not going to baby my child through her education, because that's not what her school looks like at all. But what I do care about is that she comes out the other side knowing how to be independent and knowing how to take care of herself and knowing how to learn things on her own so that she can continue a lifelong education and a lifelong love of learning instead of just, I'm going to get through these 12 years and have no interest in anything.
I think that's such a big point because once you're like traumatized by the school, you almost don't want to learn anymore because then like college or trade school or anything like that, it almost seems intimidating because not only the money, but you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to do this again. Like it was a terrible time. I don't want to learn. This is dumb. And you get this bad negative attitude about it. Yet like once you graduate, you still have so much more of your life to go. And there's so many different subjects and topics you can explore and then teach others and like pass down your skill to that. I think and you talked about how that is the biggest skill you can teach your kid is how to learn on their own, how to discover things. And like, because certain things that we cover in school, they might not ever cover a topic that you're passionate about.
Right. Or, just the influences too for me. Like, I have a good story. When we were in video production, those days again.
So funny.
I thought once upon a time that I wanted to be like a journalist, or a news anchor. That whole world to me was so fun and so exciting. And when I got into college, I was told by my professor that I can't write. He failed every paper I submitted, every single paper, and I didn't know what was wrong with me, so I gave it up.
You're such a good writer.
Thanks. I thought I couldn't write, and I gave up on that, and I went a totally different path. I quit college. It was dumb. I hated it. I did not like my professor. Like, that was just, that was an influence to me that I thought, okay, well, clearly I'm not good enough to do this. And I didn't even know what good would come out of it. So I went a different route. Turns out I love writing. And who cares if I'm good at it or not? I still love to do it, and I have a use for it now. So, yeah.
That's the thing that bothers me is that if every teacher was so great that you could absolutely trust them, that they won't have some sort of a negative feeling towards your child, which is impossible because, like, teaching so many kids a day is just exhausting. Like, they don't get paid enough. There's a whole different direction. But there is oftentimes some sort of a personal, because everyone has a different opinion. So when your teacher had a personal opinion about your writing, because you see them as the expert in the field and they will pass or fail you, you will listen to them. And that can shut down your entire, I mean, thank goodness you've trusted yourself and rediscovered it. But there are others who have probably been shut down so many times before and don't pursue it. I was in choir back in Russia, but my teacher told me I was a terrible singer and to be quiet. And they told me they just put me up there to look pretty in the middle. And it haunts me till this day, and I will not sing. My husband's an amazing singer, and he will always tell me, he's like, no, you can sing. Like, you actually can. But because of this now embedded thing in my head, I won't do it. And I get self-conscious about it. But one of the dreams I've always had is, like, to be able to sing and do it. I think it's one of the coolest things. But this one person telling me that lives right here forever. They don't even remember me, I promise. But in my head, it lives. And I never want anyone telling my kid she can't do something. Heck yeah, she can. If she can't do it right now, that's a different story. But let's spend some time and discover it and talk about it and figure it out. And maybe in the end, we'd learn that no, we can't do it, heck. But that shouldn't be the first lens that you look through something.
Yeah.